So, another leak has surfaced for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, and is anyone surprised? Probably not. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is supposed to be releasing in spring 2022 in Q2 of this year, and really, since we're getting closer and closer to the release date, I would expect a lot more news for this game in the coming months. But today, we have a really old leak that came out before the game was even announced on April 5th, 2019 is when this was posted, and it's just recently surfaced. And to be completely honest, I don't think this leak is real. And instead of just letting a couple of YouTubers talk about how this leak could be real, I want to talk about why this leak is probably not real. It doesn't really make any sense for this to really be in the game. And keep in mind when we do talk about this leak, that this leak is over 2 years old, and this is probably pretty outdated. And I don't really see why some of these leaks on this list would actually be in the game. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, this leak was found on Pastebin, and there is no name attached to this leak, but you can see when this was posted, April 5th, 2019. And in case you didn't know, the game was announced after that. Now, just because this leak came out before the game was announced, it doesn't disprove that this leak would be fake, because obviously the game was in development before they announced it, but it's just quite odd. We're going to talk about this in depth later in the video, but there is like 130 characters that are listed in this leak. And keep in mind, when the game was first announced, there was 250 characters that are going to be in the game. So this would be like half of the roster getting leaked for the game. So let's take a look. A list of requested new characters and variants from the prequels and original trilogy. Notice how they're not requesting from the sequel trilogy. That might be because they're still waiting for The Rise of Skywalker to come out at this moment when this was typed, so they couldn't really completely do a sequel trilogy list, which could be one of the reasons why the character count for this game kept going up and up. We understand that developmental resources are limited. You are not obligated to put in any of these characters if they do not fit budget or schedule. Well, I guess they didn't really worry about the schedule part, did they? Characters with a check mark beside them were unanimously requested by my polling group, and if possible should be prioritized, as well as all characters from the original version of LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga if feasible. With the possible exception of Indiana Jones, see George Lucas below. I really hope they don't skip out on Indiana Jones and George Lucas in this game, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, this leak is extremely old, and I'm not really sure why they would prioritize characters from the Complete Saga when they're saying that this is a completely new game, but it is really cool that they have a test group for characters they should add into the game. We are also in favor of DLC packs for these characters if you wish to include the characters from this list that could not make it into the base game. Feel free to also include any prequel and original trilogy characters not on the list that you feel would be appropriate. And they give you a huge list that I'll be having text on the screen for of nearly 130 characters. Like, this is crazy. Now, just going through this really quickly, it's really cool because you can kind of tell that a lot of these characters do seem to be fan voted. Some of the really cool ones that I noticed while reading through this is Opa Ranceese, Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn, Senate Palpatine, that's the name of the character, is Senate Palpatine, Damaged Darth Vader, Quinlan Voss, the Galactic Marine Clone Trooper, Commander Bakara, Bly, Green, Neo, Coleman, Trevor, and so many more characters were a part of this list, but those were some of the really cool ones that I found. And in addition to this leak about the characters, there's also a list of requested levels and level additions from the prequel and original trilogy. It says here, general length increase to levels, incorporating more collectibles and new abilities that will be detailed later. Fixed flying to use a free system like in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm definitely down for that. I didn't really like the flying system in the earlier LEGO Star Wars games. Now, these levels are the Gungan Army, Anakin at the Tusken Raider Camp, Arrest of Palpatine, C-3PO and R2-D2 on the Tantive 4, Chewie and R2 save C-3PO from the Ugnaughts, C-3PO and R2 in Jabba's palace, add the Gungan Bongo to the invasion of Naboo, add the Arena Beast to the Jedi battle, add Boga and the Wheel Bike to General Grievous, and completely rework Ruin of the Jedi. Have Anakin and the 501st clones fight younglings and Shaak Ti, then switch to Obi-Wan and Yoda near the end of the level, and add the Wampa to the Hoth battle on foot. So I think you can gather from what I've just read to you about some of the stuff that sounds pretty darn ridiculous. I mean, are you seriously going to have a level where Anakin and the 501st murder younglings in a kids game? It was rated for kids recently. It's been getting rated all over the world, and it's kid appropriate, and you're going to have a level where Anakin and the 501st kill younglings. That just doesn't sound right. And also, I even feel like Anakin at the Tusken Raider camp would be pushing it for a kid's game, because there were young Tusken Raiders at that camp. And also, some of these characters on this list are really ridiculous. They have an appearance for Palpatine called Senate. Ghost Qui-Gon Jinn has not been seen in the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, or really in live action at all. We saw it once in the Clone Wars. So really that doesn't make sense for it to be on the list, but I'm glad it is if this leak turns out to be real. Also, it looked like they got a little bit trigger happy with the clones, but also this was a supposed group test that they took, so it would make sense that a lot of clones would appear on here. But not even just the characters that are named themselves, but they use emojis to signify which ones are like the most important. This is supposed to be like a professional email to TT Games or whatever, and they're using emojis in this. I don't really know if that would be the correct way of doing a professional email or whatever this was supposed to be. But really, this is just from an unnamed source years ago. So we don't even have a name, and there's some crazy fan stuff that they would never put into LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga on this list, which is why I really just don't think that this leak is true. I mean, if all of these characters are in the game, I wouldn't be super surprised. Like, these are all mostly well-known characters that are kind of popular, that most of them are in the films, so it makes sense for a lot of them to be in the game. But the bonus levels really just give it away. There's no way you're having Ruin of the Jedi have Anakin kill kids, and I really don't think the Tusken Raider camp would be a bonus level either. It doesn't really add up in my opinion, which is why I'm gonna say that this leak is fake, but you never know. I really do hope this leak comes true because this is all really exciting stuff, and I can't wait to see what LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga has in store for us, but this just doesn't make sense. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga and other Star Wars games in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video.